Hello and welcome to my newest video. Today I'm going to take a quick first look, but different look at DappRadar instead of an actual single crypto game. And the reason being is that for those of you who don't know DappRadar or another competitor being Dapp Insight or Dapptrack, these websites are basically collections of the most popular and most played, most invested dApps, decentralized apps on the Ethereum blockchain. I think for most of them they only cover Ethereum blockchain dApps. And as you can see here from the screen, you have different columns that state the daily active users, for example, the DAO of the certain crypto game. You have the transaction volume for the last 24 hours and also the volume for 7 days. And you can also sort based on these different metrics. And you can basically get a good understanding on where the Ethereum market is currently at, or at least the Ethereum Dapp market is currently at. And the main reason why I'm also trying to look at these kind of aggregator sites and also on different kind of dApps and not just crypto games, which are essentially also decentralized apps on the Ethereum blockchain, is because right now you're seeing the prices falling, not just for Ethereum but also for a lot of other cryptocurrencies. Obviously the market cap is going down significantly and has been going down since end of January. And I think it's important that for now we focus more as a community, as Ethereum, if we focus on Ethereum at least, as a community on the practical use cases behind Ethereum and all these other cryptocurrencies in comparison. Because I, in my opinion, think we are in a kind of consolidation phase right now. I think a lot of cryptocurrencies that don't really serve a real purpose, or at least not try to do in the long run, they will fall out of the spectrum of the mass adoption investment, and because this is the main goal, I think, for major cryptocurrencies to get to, that they reach mass adoption, which I think Ethereum was in a good way when they reached all-time high back in January. I think it's important to reflect on the actual use cases for these dApps, for these decentralized apps. And one of them obviously being that Ethereum is not necessarily a real competitor to Bitcoin, for example. A lot of people think that way, but I think most of you probably know that Ethereum tries to be less of a payment transaction cryptocurrency or currency in general that you just use to pay different services, and even as Bitcoin tries to do, enter the real normal offline market, so to speak. Obviously it's always going to be handled online, but obviously they also try to reach mass adoption by having a payment system that everyone uses around the world for all time, for any kind of transaction you do over the internet. So even if you pay by Amazon, or if you pay a certain purchase, if you purchase something, you want to use Bitcoin, or at least that's the end goal to some degree, to reach mass adoption. And I think I recently overheard that only around 5 to 8% actually own Bitcoin. So there's still a huge opportunity to open up to a mass market, and that was back in January, where we had an all-time high in market cap, over 800 billion. So again, Bitcoin is trying to reach a different goal here, while Ethereum doesn't necessarily want to be a payment system in the actual sense. In terms of mass adoption, they try to be more of, as I already said, more of a platform for decentralized apps or decentralized applications in general, and decentralized platforms. And I think in terms of this type of goal, they're already doing a great job, especially compared to a lot of other cryptocurrencies. Now, at the moment, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of comparison going on with EOS or NEO, calling it the Asian or Chinese Ethereum. But in the end, I think it comes down to experience. I'm probably going to do another video about this case, because a lot of people say, okay, there are a lot of disadvantages in terms of practical usage of Ethereum compared to EOS specifically, but also to NEO, because of the network clogging, for example, because not as many transactions per second can be executed by the Ethereum blockchain compared to NEO, or especially compared to EOS, which in this case is actually I think it's a hard fork of Ethereum as well. So I think, is it a ERC20 token? Please leave a comment below and tell me about that. I'm not a technical guy. I really like to know more about this. So please leave a comment and provide this kind of information to the community and also to me, because I'm always interested in this kind of interaction with everyone interested. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that Ethereum, in my opinion, has already done the work for a lot of these other cryptocurrencies that try to be real competitors and try to reach the same end goal as Ethereum does, like I said, EOS and NEO and so on, is that they have had these experiences. And that's the most, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of this whole story. Yes, you can have more potential, a better practical use case, and a better technology to some degree that can be used by the masses. But then again, you can build on top of Ethereum blockchain as well and introduce the same as Bitcoin is doing right now with Lightning Network. They're trying to introduce Plasma and so on, and Casper. So in the end, I think it comes down to Ethereum already having all this experience. Again, I'm already going off the trails a bit here. But I'm probably going to do another video about why I think Ethereum is leading the way in terms of decentralized apps and using applications on a blockchain, because they have already made this experience. As you can see here from the screen, from DappRadar, from Dapp Insight, from Dapptrack, that they have a working product to some degree, and they have made the experience that all these other cryptocurrencies haven't done yet. And because this is such a new market, nobody really knows how it will work in the end completely. Blockchain in general, just the technology in general, it has to be proven by being used. You know, there can be so many economists, there can be so many scientists that, or just coders and programmers that try to basically see where the road leads us, but you can only go so far as making the experience yourself as a platform, or as in this case as a cryptocurrency. So again, I think Ethereum is actually doing a great job by making this experience, and also making bad experiences to some degree, because they notice where the current limits are to this platform or to this blockchain, to this cryptocurrency, and they try to improve on it instead of just coming up with all this potential in terms of transaction speed and all these other advantages that other cryptocurrencies supposedly have, but they don't really have made the experience yet. So yes, while EOS might release their beta, I think in the next 2 months maybe, they still have to make this experience. And then again, the hype is down right now, so there have to be enough. Well, there has to be enough interested in the majority of coders and businesses that want to develop their decentralized apps on EOS as well. And I think with hype being down right now, this probably won't be the case in terms of volume. You know, you need to have a driving economy, so to speak, in your own cryptocurrency realm. And because hype is down, I don't think we will reach such a high interest in all these other cryptocurrencies that try to reach the same goal as Ethereum did the last couple of months. So yeah, long story short, in my opinion, it's quite important in order to improve on cryptocurrencies, especially on their practical use case, because that's in the end what's going to determine their success and their probability to reach mass adoption. Basically, is that you have to look at DappRadar and Dapp Insight and Dapptrack to get a good understanding on where we're currently at and where we try to go to. Now, if you look at DappRadar, for example, you can also see the total transaction volume for the last day, I think. I'm not too sure if the number you see at the top right is actually an indicator of today's transaction volume, or last 24 hours transaction volume, or if it's the last 7 days. I'm not too sure about it. I think it's 24 hours. But obviously, it's going down right now. The hype has been died down a bit. Cryptocurrencies such as Ethereum are also down in price. So while people should invest more when the price is cheap, they're actually doing the opposite, because interest is going down and less people are testing out these decentralized apps, and the transaction volume that's being traded on these decentralized apps is also going down. So again, just to give you an understanding of DappRadar, you have all these different stats or metrics that give you a good understanding, a good idea of where these different titles, these different dApps are currently at. So you have, for example, one of the most successful dApps right now is PO, or I think it's Proof of Weak Hands, but I don't know really how to pronounce the abbreviation. 3D, which is basically an improvement or an update of the recent proof of weekends that actually was a scam exit. I'm not too sure, or some kind of technical failure. So there was some guy who just ran away with all the Ethereum being stored on it. This time it works much better. I think it has reached a larger market as well compared to the first proof of weekends. So as you can see here, for example, the balance right now is really high. We're at 12,000 Ethereum. We have at a daily active user rate of over 2,000 people, or at least 2,000 wallets, and also really high volume, 24 hours. I think the highest was 2,000 in 24 hours, which was on the weekend. But if you just look at the volume in the last 7 days, it's really massive. So we had, even during these times, we have had around 10,000 Ethereum being traded on proof of weekends 3D. So you can check it out yourself. You can click basically on DappRadar on the title of this crypto game or this crypto Dapp, and you being redirected to the website itself. You can check it out yourself. There's also a category. Obviously, most of them are games. Some of them are other because they can't really be categorized too easily. And you also have casinos, because obviously a major part of the current Dapp industry is also gambling to some degree, which shouldn't be mixed up with gaming, because I think games should be seen as a gameplay focused industry of themselves, because obviously if Ethereum tries to be a cryptocurrency for crypto gaming, and that's what essentially is what my YouTube channel has been about for the majority of my videos, I think it's important to focus and differentiate games that try to provide real gameplay from gambling, for example, which I think also speaks to a different target market here. Anyway, again, coming to a conclusion here, I really like these type of websites. They give you a good indication of where the decentralized app industry, in this case for Ethereum, is currently at, where it's trying to heading to, what transaction volume we're currently at. And what's also important is that I think that the community has to get a good understanding of these dApps use cases. Are they really in any kind of way useful, or are they just small games basically that small developers try to do during their free time, and trying to develop during their free time and just to get some investment, get some Ethereum? Or are there actual real use cases? Are there actual games that the developer tries to release for a majority of people to enjoy? Anyway, check it out yourself. I'm going to post a link to DappRadar in the video description below. And let me also tell you a bit about Dapp Insight, which is quite new compared to DappRadar. I think DappRadar was one of the first. If you're a developer and you have your own game or decentralized app in general, even I think they only accept Ethereum blockchain dApps right now, so no Neo or A-Chain or any other cryptocurrency. But if you do have or try to release or plan to release another Dapp on the Ethereum blockchain, you can actually, as far as I understood, submit your Dapp at the top here via these different social media channels, and then you can basically be registered on the website and hopefully be at the top. You can also pay for it. As you can see here, this one actually shows the paid version, the paid ad basically for this specific game to be shown on the top. So you have to pay for it to be shown on the top at the top. For all the others, just click through them to see yourself. A lot of these don't really have any activity right now. They might be picking up again sooner or later once we have some hype back again, once we have a higher interest in Ethereum investments again, and more people using these dApps as well. And for Dapp Insights, I think considering that it's quite new comparatively, it gives you a really good understanding of the most important dApps. You can also submit them there, and they just have more information for each of these single decentralized apps. As you can see here, most of them have the same one, so they have proof of weekends 3D as well. CryptoKeys obviously being the most popular Dapp or crypto game out there, but also, as I said before, same for DappRadar. They have a lot of decentralized exchanges like Token Store, Lock Ethereum. They actually even have Denta Coin, which also is a ERC20 token, I think, of Ethereum. Also Fishbank, Ethereum, and you can get all this additional information about the daily active users, transactions, and so on. But you can also click on it and get a nice understanding on the monthly summary. As you can see here, you have the active user base and the transactions, which have been going up and down. Just a really nice understanding and an overview of where the game is currently at and where it's going to, where it has been for the last 7 days. Actually, really nice information on this. And I advise everyone who's first planning to invest in any of these decentralized apps with real Ethereum, look at these websites and check out the current activity, because you don't necessarily, especially for hot potato games, you don't want to necessarily invest in a crypto game where you don't have any kind of real activity, because obviously you might get stuck with your hot potato bag eventually. Now again, this might pick up again. As I said before, I don't think all your bags are lost completely. There might always be a chance for new people to enter the market, for hype to pick up again, and more people enjoy the same game again. But for now, for a lot of these games, obviously for a lot of these decentralized apps, the activity has been going down. There are a few exceptions, for example, like ETH Town, that I've also done 2 videos about. But yeah, other than that, check it out yourself. The third and the last one, I think I'm already at 16 minutes right now, is Dapptrack, which works quite similar to DappRadar, basically, where you can also check out these different games by title. You can sort them, you can rank them. I think they're ranked based on the daily active users or the transaction volume for the last 24 hours. You have the daily active users, as you can see here. You have the balance currently in the smart contract. Obviously, if you change the smart contract, it can't really be, it's not really visible here anymore, because I don't think they add up the different smart contract balance. You have the volume, obviously. I don't know what votes is. Maybe that's kind of a voting system by the community. So that also gives you a nice understanding of all the apps. And obviously, if you use these different types of aggregators, these different types of websites and charts, you can get a good understanding of where the current industry is heading to and get a better understanding of it. And the last one I'm also going to show you really quick, which is not necessarily a list of games, but more of a calendar, which is also really nice for those of you who plan on continuously investing into these games and being part of the industry and just being part of the DApps in general. You have this nice calendar to check out the upcoming releases of new games or upcoming new additions of features of existing games, for example. So as you can see here, Crystal Rain, I've also done a video about, has the upcoming Crystal Rain alpha testing. I think that's already been done. No, it's the 2nd of April, so that's today. So it's probably right now, or at least in the next couple of hours. And there's Crypto Soccer Burn Up, and you can just go through the different days and check out what's going to come up. Maybe there's something interesting for you to check out, and always use them in combination, these different platforms and websites, to get a good understanding, good feeling for where the game is currently at. If it's something for you, if you're interested in investing. As always, please don't take this video as financial advice. Obviously, please do your own research and due diligence before you invest, and only invest as much Ethereum as you can afford to lose, basically. Other than that, this was a really long video, which I normally don't do, but I think it's important to talk about these dApps and where the dApp industry in general is heading to. I think, in my opinion, this gives a good understanding, or at least with this video I'm trying to give you a good understanding and a basis for more discussion and more constructive feedback towards these different game developers, these different dApp developers, in order to kind of make the industry grow and make an actual industry. You know, right now it's not necessarily very professionally done. I don't think the industry can really call itself an industry yet. I think there are still major hurdles and challenges involved to get to another stage in order to also reach mass adoption when it comes to the gaming industry to be interested in these type of decentralized apps or decentralized games. And I think we'll just see in the next couple of weeks, maybe months, maybe even years, where the whole thing is going towards and what it wants to be eventually. Again, I think most of these games or websites, they try to attract different markets. Oftentimes they don't necessarily know which target market they are going for. Some of them try to be a game, but they are more of an investment. Then the other way around exists as well, so they try to be more of investment type of game, but they should focus more on gameplay and so on. So obviously this will be something that's just going to develop in the next in the near future, hopefully. And I really hope that this industry can flourish and become something serious that also attracts a much larger market, with the end goal again being that Ethereum as a cryptocurrency or the blockchain technology receives mass adoption to a much larger degree that we have seen at the end of January or until the end of January, but also these DApps to be more integrated as part of your normal lifestyle and a normal mass market, basically. You know, if the end goal is to be as big as the app market right now in terms of iPhones and smartphones and on all these other type of mobile applications, that would be absolutely fantastic. Obviously, that should be the end goal eventually. You know, if we could get there, why not? Obviously, much more money for everyone, and especially for the developers of these dApps that deserve it eventually. Okay, so this was a really long video. As I said before, I hope you liked it still. Please leave a comment and give me feedback if I should do it a little bit more structured way, if I should do a more in-depth video about dApps in general and where the industry is going to. Maybe I'm also going to do interviews in the future with people who have much more knowledge than me in this type of setting. Yeah, also leave a like if you like the video. I'm going to post a link to all of these platforms, DappRadar, Dapp Insight, Dapptrack, and Dapp's Call in the video description. You can check it out yourself. And as always, hope you liked the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.